Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Tuesday, 18th of October 2022. In today's Millwall news, we have this piece from the londonnewsonline.co.uk. George Saville has stepped up his performances in the last three Millwall matches. Indeed, he has been very good. Gary Rowett has praised George Saville's performances since the experienced midfielder has come back into Millwall's starting lineup. Only Danny McNamara completed more passes than the former Chelsea Wolves and Middlesbrough player 42 on Saturday, and Northern Ireland International had the joint second most touches in the 2-1 win at Bristol City. It was Saville's late lung-bursting run which ended up winning the Lions a penalty, but Benikovic was unable to convert for the South Londoners. Saville came out of the Lions team after the Derby loss to QPR at the Den and was an unused substitute when Mill defeated Blackpool. He was drafted back in the following the 2-1 reverse of Blackburn, has played in the middle of the pitch with Billy Mitchell. Rowett told the South London Press, "It's been a bit of a stop-start season for him. I had a good chat with him before he came back into the team before the Rotherham game. Sam's been really consistent all the way throughout. The challenge for him when he went back in is that I think he got more to come in terms of quality and more to come in terms of leadership aspect in the group, because he's won the senior ones. In the 3 games, he stepped up incredibly well. You can see him on the pitch organising and leading by example, but also giving really good information to me. In those 3 games, he has been excellent. We know what he can do when you have moved for a lot of money in your career. When you've played at a very good level, the expectation is higher on you than is on some of the other players. You've got to match that. The last 3 games certainly has done that. He's been pretty consistent since he came back. So those extra little bits and his recent form has been really good. I've been really pleased with him." So there's Gary Rowett on George Saville. Now we have Gary Rowett. He plays down the importance of Millwall's double game week. The Lions could climb into the playoff places if they win their next 2 games and other results go their way. Steady on there. We were just above relegation a couple of weeks ago. Mill boss Gary Rowett doesn't believe that this week is more important than any other in the Championship, despite hosting 2 of the pre-season title favourites. The Lions, fresh off the back of consecutive wins, will host Watford on Wednesday evening before welcoming West Brom to the Den on Saturday afternoon. They now sit 11th in the league table, just 2 points off the top 6 and 5 points off league leaders Burnley, who have won the same amount of games as Rowett so far this season. Yes, Burnley have drawn a lot of games, which means the table's quite compacted. They haven't. There's no gap really. They're just sitting on top. They're not above and beyond. There's no gap. And West Brom lost tonight. They lost to Bristol City, I believe, which is a bit of a shocker because Bristol City didn't look all that against us, and they ended up beating West Brom 2-0 at West Brom. So obviously massive problems going on at West Bromwich Albion at the moment. They still don't have a new manager, I believe. Maybe they're waiting for Saturday. Maybe after the game, the 2 chairmen will have a little chat, and the manager as well. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. Yeah, it's a weird one today in the Championship. Norwich City lost at home to Luton Town. So Swansea beat Reading. So here's a topsy-turvy world. Rotherham won away at Stoke City. So crazy things happening in the league. And it's all right getting in the playoffs. Like, it's October. Getting in the playoff positions in October is irrelevant. It really doesn't matter. You want to be in the playoff places after the last game of the season. That's where it matters. When the fat lady's sunk. They now sit 11th on the table. I've read that many supporters see their next 2 games as a litmus test for their recent improvement. Yes, I said that as well. The Watford game especially is going to be a lot tougher. The last 3 games, Rotherham, Middlesbrough and Bristol City, we restricted those teams to 1 shot on target for each of them. And I'm pretty sure if we do that against Watford, that's going to be absolutely crazy and impressive. So I don't think that will happen. So that will be a real test for George Long. Has George long been good, or has the defence just protected them a lot better when it's we've got more players up the pitch and the ball doesn't come straight to the defence? With the shift to a back four seen as a significant catalyst for their rise up to the top half of the division. However, Rowett is keen for his side to face this week as they would any other, telling News at Den that he doesn't believe it to be more important than any of the matches. Rotherham was a test on its own. We came from that. We should have won the game, but it was better, he explained. Middlesbrough was a different type of test at home. We won that game and performed well. Then going away to Bristol was a different type of test. I think it's always a nice narrative, but the reality is for us that each game is a different test in its own right. It's a 46-game season. You need to win plenty of games. We know roughly how many that is to get where we want to be. It's a championship, and if you don't step up for one of those games, then you could end up on the wrong side of a result, and you've got to bounce back pretty quick. That's as far as it goes, really. If you start putting weeks into more importance and now 4 points on the game, while they're 5 points on the game, no, it's exactly the same scenario. For us, it's 2 home games. The last time we had 2 home games, we lost 1 and we won 1. So we'll be hoping to take more points from that than it is possible. Indeed, and not only that, we are now on a 2-game winning streak, which is the first time for a long time, I believe. And when was the last time we won 3 games in a row? Probably when we had that little run at the end of last season that got us up to 7th place before the Bournemouth game. And so, is it possible we could get a 3-game winning streak? 4-game winning streak? I don't think so. I think we could draw probably the Watford game and then beat West Brom. I would love that. That would be pretty good. Just looking for the performances, really, especially against Watford. They're a team. They had a shit manager. They replaced him with a better one, and they've really reacted to that. They've improved. They've gotten better very quickly. The guys, Slaven Bilic, just been there for like 2 or 3 games, I believe, and it's like night and day. He's flicked a switch there. So hopefully, shame we didn't get to play them under the old manager. But I think it might be good that we get them right now, not further on down the line when the guys made a lot of improvements, especially probably after January when he might have signed some better players. So that might be good. So moving on now to this, also from Gary Rowett. So Millwall boss frustrated as youngster returns from loan. Besart Topalloj's first loan spell didn't go as well as the Lions had hoped. Gary Rowett has been left frustrated by Besart Topalloj's lack of game time at Dagenham Redbridge, but admitted that it was up to the National League club to decide whether or not he should play. Yes. The 21-year-old side just 1 match for the Daggers, a 5-4 winner into London rival Barnet, who subsequently dropped to the bench as an unused substitute for 3 games before missing out on the squad entirely and returning to Millwall. Rowett believes that the defender deserved more of a chance to showcase his ability during his 28-day loan, but backed him to bounce back and continue his development as one of the line's most talented youngsters. He's back in training, so I'm pretty sure his loan is up, he told me. I think it shows that there's different types of loans. For as many good loans as we've had, it's also a challenge sometimes in certain loans. I think he played the first game, probably admitted himself that he could have done a little bit better for 1 or 2 of the goals. What you ideally want for that younger player is for him to go back into the team and see if he's learned from 1 or 2 errors. The player has to earn the right to play every week, wherever they go. It's probably not worked out quite how we wanted it to, but Bez has got to learn from that and see if it motivates him to come back and continue to progress in the way that he has done so far. Rowett admits that the decision was ultimately that of Dagenham and Redbridge boss Daryl McMahon, but he stated that Millwall treat loanees pardon me, in the same way, rather than considering them to be undroppable just to appease their parent club. We've said that recently. I can't really contradict myself, can I? I've always said it. While you want to encourage teams to play your players, if you take them, there's always a part of that where the players to make sure they're undroppable. If you look at someone like Alex Mitchell, he's done that in his loans. One game I think is harsh to judge, so I don't think it's probably a little bit unique. But as soon as you take a player on loan, it doesn't mean that they automatically play every week. It's the same both ways. Yeah, it's kind of Gary Rowett talking about the Besart Topalloj loan, but is he really talking about the Charlie Cresswell loan and the Jamie Shackleton loan? Quite similar situations there. I watched the highlights from that game. Dagenham were all over the place. They play 3-5-2, and the wing back on the left hand side was just he was off and away. He was a winger. Didn't want to defend. Couldn't be bothered. So pinning that on Besart Topalloj is an absolute disgrace. Manager there. That's what he's done. I thought he played really well actually, and just the whole Dagenham was crazy. I think that formation again, 3-5-2, that bloody 3-5-2. I think he's trying to play that, and then the game after he changed it, and they still conceded 4 goals. I think it was 4-4 draw or something like that. Kamal Grant played in that one, I believe, and so it's clear it clearly wasn't him if you concede 4 goals in the game after as well. Like so, oh no, it was. I think they lost. I think they lost 4-1 or 5-1 to Dorking. So like, clearly it's not him then, is it? But it is what it is. So moving on now to previewing kind of tomorrow's game, Millwall versus Watford. So this is from millfc.co.uk. Millwall versus Watford in selected overseas territories. You can watch it. Overseas Lions fans in certain territories can stream this Wednesday's game home to Watford. Kick off 8 p.m. By the way, 8 p.m. for £10. We will host the Hornets in SC16 with a match host bringing you multiple angles of the action live, including replays with full match commentary. Check out the streaming passes below, blah blah blah. This fixture is only available in selected countries due to broadcasting rights, with the game being selected for Sky Sports coverage. UK based and supporters in countries listed below can only listen to audio commentary. So here are the countries. Match passes are not available in the following locations. So here's all the situations where you cannot watch this game if you live in any of these countries, or if you're watching in any of these countries. But it's interesting that they show you this, because I know a lot of I don't bother with this. I don't really know how it works, VPNs and all that. But if you need to use a VPN, isn't it interesting they give you a list of countries where if you chose a VPN, it will really work. So you needed to choose a VPN that isn't any of these. So Canada, something like that. Spain, is Spain on there? So it's nice of them to give you a list of countries where you can go around and use a VPN and just give me more money. And the reason why this is happening, of course, is the game is on television. It's being broadcast around the world. It's being broadcast in the UK on Sky Sports. It's going to be Sky Sports Football UK and Sky Sports Main Event. Sky Ultra 1, wherever that is, I don't know. So this is from liveonsat.com. These are all the various channels where it will be hosted online. But if you recognise any of these from your country that you are living in, DAZN in Germany. So what's happening is the blue links are satellite TV channels, and the black ones, I believe, are internet situation. So you've got beIN Connect in France. If you're in Australia, beIN Sports in Australia, Free HD. Does that ring a bell to anyone in Australia? ESPN Plus if you're in the USA. Viaplay Baltic. Viaplay Finland, Iceland, Netherlands, Poland. So all these various channels it will be shown on tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So there you are. Now, moving on to this from 11v11.com. The head-to-head results of Millwall versus Watford. Another team like Bristol City, we have played a lot of games against them. The home games start in November 1920 and crack on all the way to obviously last year, so nearly over 102 years of Millwall versus Watford. The last game out was 26th of January 2021, a 0-0 draw. And before that, we beat them in the FA Cup. And then before that, 2015, we lost 2-0 in the Championship. And interesting, the history of Watford. And you can see, for many, many years, they were down in Division 3 South and then Division 4. So they spent a lot of time in the bottom two divisions of English professional football. Then certain people come along, including Elton John, and they get themselves sorted out, a bit of investment, start pushing on, sign some decent players like John Barnes, and they end up in a situation where they improve themselves, take the club onto another level, and they spend the next, since probably 1970s, in the top two divisions, even making it into the Premier League. So you can see for a lot of the early years, Watford travelling to Millwall, they lose a lot. We win that game a lot. There's quite a few 0-0 draws in there as well, which is weird. But once we start getting into the 1980s and 90s, we lose 3 times in a row to them. 1980, 1990, 1991 on Boxing Day. Played them quite a few times around the Christmas period. I think we're playing them this year around Christmas as well, aren't we? In the away fixture. I think that is on Boxing Day. And it's an early kickoff as well. Ooh. So after that run of 3 games in a row of defeat, we win 4 in a row because we have a pretty decent team coming off the Teddy Sheringham, the Alex Ray era. 5-2, 4-1, 4-3, 2-1. Smashed them. Then we start losing again. And then a period from 2004 2012, we didn't win at home to them. 4 defeats and a draw, including a 6-1 hammering. Ouch. So that seems to be our worst result ever against them at home. It was a 6-1. Just looking up and down, we lost 4-0 in 1991 Boxing Day. That was the killer. A 6-0 victory in August 1962. Did any of the people watching this go to that game? And a 5-1 victory in 1922. If you're watching this and you went to that game, good on you. But yeah, so they have stepped it up to another level now. They were in the Premier League. They seem to be established in the Championship, and they are capable of winning at Millwall now. It's not like the good old days where we smashed them quite easily. They are capable of playing and winning at Millwall at the Den. So, moving on now to this. Match facts on the right hand side. Millwall won 8 of their last 10 home matches. There have been over 2.5 goals scored in Watford's last 5 games. So a lot of goals, okay. Millwall scored at least 2 goals in 8 of their last home matches in the Championship. In the 8 of their last 10. Millwall have seen under 2.5 goals in their last 4 matches against Watford in all competitions. So it seems we have conflicting stats there with the goals, so something's got to go there. They both can't be right. So if we switch this up to home versus away, here you go, quite a few clean sheets in the last 6 games. Clean sheets for Millwall, 1, 2, 3. Clean sheets for Watford, 1, 2, 3. None, the highest scoring is 2. No one scored more than 2. Quite a low scoring affair all round. If you look at Millwall scored 4 goals in those 6 games, and Watford have scored 6. And both teams are 11 yellow cards for Millwall, 12 for Watford. And pretty even, 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 away wins for Watford. Interesting stuff. And also interesting that so we've got these last 6 games that we played them at the Den. 3 of them have been in January, 3 of them have been in April. That's kind of weird as well. So we have an outlier now in October. When have we played them in October then? 6th of October 1993, we won 4-3. And the year before, we won 4-1. Well, I would certainly love a repeat of that. In October 1970, we won 3-0. In October 1959, we drew 2-2. Okay, so it's not all. And then in October 1957, how far back are we going to go? We lost 3-2. So generally playing them in October is pretty good. Millwall. If we go down, so here's where they are in the table at the moment, pretty even. Again, Millwall not drawing games. Millwall not drawing games, winning games, and losing games, but not drawing games, which was a complaint last season from a lot of fans. Gary draw it, well, we're not drawing games, and fans not happy because it means we lose more, and then Mill fans don't really like losing. But the formation has changed. So if we go to the form table, we are 8th. They are 14th. 5 of the last 6 games. They've scored more than us, but conceded more as well. We've got 3-1-2. They've got 2-1-3. If we go back to the standings, so Millwall at home in the home table, 4th best team in the division at home. 7 games, 5 wins, 0 draws, 2 defeats, scoring 11, conceding 6. That is pretty good. Now, away form. How are Watford away? Are they any good? Not really. So that's quite a high number of draws. Obviously, most of these will be under the old manager. They're a lot better away than Millwall, but we've just changed our formation and it's early shoots at the moment. But obviously this is the home game, so we don't really care about Millwall's away form. We care about Watford's away form. Won 1 game away, which was their... we'll find out about that. Drawn 4, lost 2. So they do try and draw away games, it seems. They set up not to lose. So let's go down to this and see the actual fixture from both teams. Here's Millwall's home games and here's Watford's away games. What away game did they win? Stoke. Okay. Well, tonight, Stoke lost 1-0 to Rotherham, arguably one of the poorest teams in the league. So I think that doesn't really say anything about Watford's strength away from home. They lost 3-1 to Blackpool. They lost 2-0 to Blackburn. We lost 2-1 at Blackburn, so they could only draw at Rotherham or 1-1. Well, we only draw at Rotherham as well, but I shouldn't really criticise that. And then they drew at Preston and they drew at Watford, drew at Birmingham 1-1 as well. Interesting stuff. Interesting. You think, given Millwall's ability at home, the fans, that Watford might come and play for a draw, keep it tight and try and nick it? You could think like that. I don't know. Maybe. Millwall's home form, obviously 2-0 against Middlesbrough. So every game they've won, I think at home, we've scored at least 2 goals. So it's up to the opposition to stop us from scoring, and then they can get something out of it. So Reading did that; they won 1-0. QPR did that; they won 2-0. So if we fail to score, probably going to lose the game. So what will Watford try and stop us from scoring first before they try and score? Could we see another one of those 0-0s that we've seen in the history books? Millwall's strengths there, Millwall's weaknesses. Defending against attacks down the wings, Watford are very weak. Yeah, I think someone said their right back is standing. The main right back's got injured and they've just got a midfielder playing now, I think. So here's the match forecast. Millwall will score from a set piece situation, very likely. Millwall will create many scoring chances, very likely. Watford will steal the ball from the opposition often, likely. Watford will score as a result of individual skill, likely. Millwall will control the game in the opposition's half, likely. Okay, interesting. Someone's predicted that Tom Bradshaw will be man of the match. Okay, fair enough. So get on to the actual prediction from WhoScored.com. They reckon it's going to be the same team, although they obviously don't know that Wallace is injured. They just got Ryan Leonard's injured. Here's apparently all the injuries for Watford. Yeah, that we've seen all those match facts. So Zion Fleming continued his rich vein of form on Saturday afternoon as he found the net in a 2-1 Millwall away win against Bristol City. The Lions have now won back-to-back league games and 3 of their last 4 at home. Imran Loser was the star of the show on Saturday night as he guided Watford to a 2-1 home win against promotion contenders Norwich. Well, Norwich lost today to Luton, so again, does that really speak to Watford's strength? Slaven Bilic now looks to turn around a terrible run of away form that's seen the visitors win just 1 of the opening 7 away league games. Indeed. And they say it will be Millwall 1 or Watford 1. Interesting stuff. So let's move on now to David Bryton's prediction from SkySports.com. Obviously, Sky showing the game live tomorrow on their main channel on Sky Sports Football and Sky Sports main event. It's 3 wins and a draw from 5 games now for Millwall, inspired by the brilliant Zion Fleming. 5 goals for him in as many games. He's starting to emerge as one of the standout players in the league. Watford bounced back brilliantly from 2 bad results to beat Norwich on Saturday. They showed quality in the first half and real character in the second, as the Canaries tried to fight back. It was much more like it for Slaven Bilic and his side, but Millwall aren't in form, so I'll go for a share of the spoils here, and Bryton predicts it to be 2-2. Interesting, so he's going for the draw as well, indeed. So interesting what he says there about Slaven Bilic. Apparently, so it looks like they hit him hard in the first half, got the goal, and then sat back. They might try that against us. It might work. So they might not just sit back and play it tight and try and nick a goal. They might just go boom gung ho from the start, hope to catch us off guard, and then try and defend. That generally doesn't work, but again, I think I've got to go with both of these websites here. I think it's going to be a draw. We've won 2 in a row. Winning 3 in a row is a bit hard. They've got a new manager. They're obviously a lot better now. He's not as daft as the old one. Which that was a weird appointment, bringing that guy in from Forest Green Rovers. That literally made no sense to me. I'm going to go Millwall 1, Watford 1, but I could see it being 2-1 to Watford because this is going to be a real test of George Long. Last 3 games, he's only had 1 shot on target. I think that Watford are going to at least have more than that. Who's playing at left back? Will it be a left back? Will we change formation? Because we don't have a proper left back, we only have a left wing back. Who knows? I don't know. But if Gary Rowett changes formation and we end up playing shit and just losing, or even just scraping a draw, fans not going to be happy. And then that goes into the West Brom game when obviously West Brom still don't have a manager. Is that his audition for that job? He gets to speak to the West Brom board and the Millwall board as they're all in the same game at the same time. They can all have a little chat about Gary Rowett going to West Brom and getting a job there. Who knows? But I'm going to say Millwall 1 or Watford 1. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.